Okay, so cranking over, it didn't sound like good at all. Like it sounded pretty nasty. It sounded like it was backfiring, but we played at the distributor a little bit. It would not like stop, like wanting to puff back, and it just, you know, that kind of thing where it's just kind of, it's firing and stopping the starter motor because it's wanting to spin it the opposite way. So first, you know, I was like, oh, it's just a distributor. Tried playing with that. My dad came home and tried playing with that again. It wasn't helping at all. I mean, maybe a tiny bit, but it didn't seem to do anything. So I was like, oh, I'll take off the top cover, see, you know, if there's any issues with the rods or anything, and then I'll see if it's got like a drop valve seat, and the valve seat's just like kind of just flopping around in the cylinder and causing it to have problems. But I took this off. I mean, I took the plugs out, and I was actually really amazed at how clean they looked. They look like they've hardly ever been used, if they've ever been used. But so I took this off. Look how clean that is. It's all shiny. All the rods are nice and tight. Everything looks really good. And I mean, to me, it looks. And I mean, the pistons don't have like any scoring on them. I mean, just a couple light discoloration kind of scratches, but you can't feel them when you run your finger across. I mean, they're very light. If all the bolts aren't the like original type bolts that have the little flange on one end, they're just like the like that. See, like all like hardware store bolts. So I think this was just rebuilt, and somebody put the distributor in 180 degrees off, and that's causing it not to start. In which case, this is a major score, because if I can pull the distributor out, spin it, the rotor around to 180 degrees, drop it back in, and have this thing run for the first time since being rebuilt, that'd be amazing. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time someone's done that, though, and rebuilt a motor, put it back together, thought they fucked it up and sold it, or give it away in this case. The guy just gave it to the kid, I guess, but yeah, so I think it's got a rebuilt engine that's never run, which I'm really hoping I can switch the distributor around. If it's got a drop valve seat, that's a little more work, but it's not a huge deal. I mean, but yeah, I mean, everything in here is like, you saw the other motor that I had, like the one, even the one in it that I don't think was run, or in that car that I don't think was run for very long, this was turning like really brown, and it was turning brown. Then the one that I put together, it was almost black, and then this one's just barely a gold color, which I think that was probably like in the power pressure, or probably like the parts washer or whatever cleaned it up, but it still left a golden color on it. But yeah, I mean, this is amazing. So I'm hoping I can just switch the distributor around and it'll run. Which that would be so cool. Because I mean, I could do that. Drop a new master cylinder in the, and then replace some of the brake lines, get the brakes working, which that's not a big deal. I don't have a drivable car. I mean, granted, there's some rust, but that's nothing that needs to be taken care of before I drive it. So yeah. I hope to fix some of the little bit of rust it's got, which it's starting to. You can see a little bit. It's starting up right there, and then it's got a little funny right here. But it's a lot easier than trying to rebuild the entire A-post. Because I mean, really, everything's lined up. I could just cut this out, weld a new piece, and not even have to mess with the door hinge or aligning, like how far the gap in the door and stuff. I can leave everything together and know it's not going to get messed up. And I know I'm not going to make it like not solid. But also, you have to have the shims in this like perfectly to get it to shift right. And a lot of people like, oh, you got to do a lot of measuring and then find what color shims you need and all this stuff. Well,